today I'm here to talk about clean code and how to achieve zero defects. That last part, zero defects, may be a bit controversial, and it's not something that happens often, but you feel really good when it does. Is it possible? Yes. Is it easy? No. The way I look at it, there's a best and a worst case. The best case scenario, you deliver something and there's absolutely no defects, and that's fantastic. The worst case scenario with this is if you're using clean code, you still have a really nice code base. It's really clean. There's not many bugs. And if you need to change stuff, you can change it quickly and feel confident. So either way, that's a pretty good scenario. You can feel good that when you're using clean code to do your coding and you're following good practices, that you're delivering something of quality value that can change easily later on. So this is one definition of clean code. There's many of them, but I really like Grady's definition. Basically, it means you should be able to read the code clearly. You should be able to give your code to somebody who's not even that technical, and they can read through it because everything's named well, and it's not horrendously long, right? And it's not really crazy to look at. It's just very clean. Everything's named well. Comments, honestly, you can get rid of comments except for the very rare case. Your code should be clean enough and easily named enough that you don't need the comments anymore. Your functions can be less than 10 lines. That's a little controversial as well. For the Kent's 4 simple rules, everything should pass, and you shouldn't have many duplicates. The DRY principle, don't repeat yourself. Minimize duplication, that'll help you out a lot. Test-driven development, another bit of a controversial thing that people are on either side of. Test-driven development is when you start off writing a test and it's failing, then you write the implementation for that test, and then you refactor it to make it a bit nicer. So you're going to go around that cycle over and over and over again. Really like that because you can feel confident with your code. Your code's getting designed well. It's naturally decoupled, and it's fairly easy to maintain. So we use test-driven development all across the board. It takes a little bit of time to get people used to. It feels a little slow in the beginning, but once you're successful with it, you can keep up a good cadence with your code. For coverage, it's not a problem if you're using TDD, but I do recommend at least 80% coverage. That can be a tough number for some people to get to, but once you're used to it, it's actually pretty easy to keep up. If you can't get there, you really should try hard. For best practices or a code of conduct, there should be something for developers to follow. Things like only ship quality software. Don't push out something if you know there's bugs in it. Just fix it. Extreme quality. There's one that our QA guy likes a lot, that QA should find nothing. It may not be real world, but that's what developers should strive for. Your code should be so clean that you don't expect QA to find any bugs with it. You expect them to find requirements issues, maybe. You should have a team that mentors each other and works together. You should also have everything be monitored, everything be accountable. You should be able to track things with code analysis. You should know what your coverage is. You should know if you have any code violations that you want to get rid of. There really should be no code violations in a given project. This is a tool called Sonar. This is a small project. It's got about 5,000 lines of code. There's 0 violations in it or issues. And then the test code coverage is just over 90%. And I'd even like that to be higher. But that's a fairly nice project, well maintained and easy to keep up with. One of the measurements that you see in a lot of code analysis tools is called cyclomatic complexity. It's basically the number of logic paths that your code goes to in a given function or class. It's really important to keep this tiny. If you're doing tiny functions, like 10 lines or less, it's going to be hard to get outside of that anyway. For the big functions with a high complexity, we think of it as the canary in the coal mine. We think of it as something that's going to happen because you can't test all of those paths very easily. So it's very, very important to keep that number low. If we have anything over 8, then it has to be rewritten. And there's got to be a really good reason for it to even get that high. Solid principles is an object-oriented principles that we're not going to go into all the details. The first one we'll talk about, single responsibility principle. Essentially, your piece of code, your function, has one purpose and one purpose only. It should not be doing 2 or 3 things. It should not be, you shouldn't have a module that's trying to do a lot of different things. You have to keep focused. In terms of alfresco, every action executor class you do, every web script you do, they should have one single purpose, just one responsibility. By doing this, you'll keep your code tighter, and it'll also be more modular. You'll be able to plug and play it easier. You'll be able to make it more reusable. Task listeners in the workflow, same thing. You don't have to have just one task listener that has all the code in it. You could have multiple task listeners and have all those different responsibilities separated out and easily modular. You want to track everything you're doing to make sure your code stays clean. The estimates are important because you want to get trending over time, but you need to know your coverage is good. You need to know you don't have complex code. You shouldn't have any violations. And you want to know how many bugs you're logging because that's a good indication if you're successful or not. And seeing that over time is a big deal. in essence, in your dev team, you should be evangelizing that this is the way things are, that you have a spirit of craftsmanship that everybody can buy into and be proud of. Once you do this once, you find that people finish a project and they're proud and they're done and they can move on to the next thing. It's a nice quote to leave by Uncle Bob, but it's true. You may feel like it's going slow in the beginning, but you keep stable productivity and you meet your goals in the end. So that's everything. There's more information up there on that site, and if you have any questions, drop by afterwards.